Restoring a vehicle. Done right, it can be one of the most rewarding things you can ever undertake. Done wrong, it can turn your life upside down. Shake the money out of your pockets and squeeze the sanity from your brain. Stacey David's Restoration Series is here to help you do it right. So you can keep your money and your sanity. And enjoy the fruits of your labor. So grab a wrench and let's get cranking. Stacey David's Restoration Series is brought to you by LMC Truck, Keep 'em on the road, and Cornwell Tools, the choice of professionals.
Hey, welcome to the Gears Restoration Series. Today we're going to be talking about one of the most important aspects of a restoration project, and generally the first thing that people start messing with when they get a restoration project. We're talking about the engine. And this brings up a lot of questions. Do you pull it out? Do you keep it stock? Do you hot rod it? Do you swap in something different? And how do you know what's the best engine for your project? Yeah, there's a lot of questions here, and they can be overwhelming. So the first thing that you need to do is decide what level of project that you're willing to take on, because that will help answer some of those questions. These are the 5 levels, with number 1 being the simplest and number 5 being the most difficult. If you want more details about each of these levels and what determines them, check out show number 1 titled Laying Out and Planning a Project in the Gears Restoration Series. Okay, once your planning is laid out and you know what you want to do with the project, then you can start planning on the engine. And fortunately, there's only a few approaches to putting an engine into a project. There's the stock engine, then there's the modern upgrade, then there's the totally custom deal. And since most people are going to do something with the stock engine or a modern version of that, that's what we're going to look at first. If your stock engine is presently not running, well, the first step is to get it running. Now, this means going through the fuel system, the electrical system, and the cooling system. Now, make sure that you use quality replacement parts here, because the goal is not just to get the engine running, it's to get it running where it's safe and reliable to use. So don't just hack things together here. Fix it right.
Oil pressure, 30 pounds. So you think I can make this thing move? There you go. All right.
If things are really crusty, you may need to dig into the engine and remove parts like the intake manifold and the exhaust manifolds, so you can clean out the gook. Don't be surprised to find rusty bolts or broken hardware on an old engine, and they must be removed and replaced. Once things are cleaned up and painted, you'll need new gaskets and hardware to put it back together.
It sounds awesome.
Now, if you like your original engine but want more power out of it, this would be the time to add performance parts like aluminum heads and a cam, intake, carburetor, that kind of thing. Now, what if you're planning on replacing the old engine with a new crate engine? The best way to approach this is to get the replacement engine first, then clean it up and detail it and paint it the way you want, then pull the old engine and put the new one in. This way you can easily keep track of what parts you're going to reuse and what parts you're going to replace, because most crate engines don't come with accessories like starters and alternators.
Who put that starter there?
Okay, so the question is, what exactly are you going to keep and what are you going to replace? For example, are you going to reuse all of these pulleys and brackets and hardware on an original system like this? Well, if you're after that original look and you like this, you can easily restore and paint these things and reuse all of these accessories. However, if you have an engine like that old Buick that just has a generator and you want to add a modern alternator or air conditioning or power steering, or you want something that looks better than this, well, you're going to need to go to one of these serpentine systems that has everything. As you can see, it has power steering, air conditioning, a modern alternator, all in one nice little package. Of course, this costs more than that, but you do get what you pay for. Okay, what about motor mounts? Well, you definitely need to replace them whether you're keeping the stock engine or upgrading to a crate engine, because these original rubber mounts, they can deteriorate and crack over time, and you can't tell by looking at them. Now, you can replace them with a factory original rubber mount, but if you're adding more power here, you may want to step up to these urethane mounts because they're much stronger and more durable. What about exhaust? Are you keeping it stock or adding headers? If so, now is the time to factor that in as well. And finally, are you going to upgrade the fuel system with a performance carb or fuel injection or a blower? If you are, make sure you factor this in because these can all add time and cost to a project. Also, don't forget things like new throttle cables and dipsticks because a lot of crate engines don't come with these and your original ones are usually worn out. Okay, the second approach to putting an engine into a project vehicle is to swap in a late model performance engine like a Chevy LS or a Ford Coyote or a Dodge Hemi. And fortunately, there is a world of aftermarket companies out there that offer kits that will make the installation of these type of engines pretty much a bolt-in deal in most vehicles. However, bolting the engine in and making it run properly are two different things. Because even though the newer engines might be from the same manufacturer, they're still completely different. So you're also going to need to upgrade the transmission, the radiator and the cooling system, the engine accessories, the wiring harness, the fuel system, the throttle and transmission linkage, the exhaust system, the drive shaft, and possibly the hood and the inner fenders and other things. As you can see, this takes the project into a level 3 or level 4 category and can add significant time and cost to a project. So make sure you're keeping up with things in your project planning book because this is where a project can get out of hand very quickly. The third approach to putting an engine in a project is the complete custom deal. This is when you throw out all the rules and anything stock and put whatever engine you want into whatever vehicle you want. And obviously this is a lot of fun, but it's also a level 5 project because all the design and engineering about engine placement, that's on you. Also, anything that supports the engine, like the cooling system and the electrical system, fuel system, that kind of thing, that's on you too. So obviously it's important on a project like this that you not only have the tools to do it, but also the skills to use them. Let me show you what I'm talking about. The first step is to position the engine of choice in the frame rails of the vehicle. In this case, we're putting a Chevy Duramax diesel in a '69 International cabover truck. Now, once the position is determined, the motor mounts need to be fabricated. Now, keep in mind, they not only need to hold the engine in place, but they also need to clear the exhaust and other components. They also need to be strong enough to support whatever power the engine's putting out. And if that's not enough juggling, the other side of the mount needs to be designed to connect solidly to the frame rails, either as a weld-on or a bolt-on. Also, engineering your mount pedestals to utilize a stock rubber mount is a smart thing to do, so you can easily find replacement motor mounts when you need them in the future. And that's it. Obviously, there's really no limit to what engine you can put in your project if you have the right tools and the skills to do it. So as you can see, you got a lot of choices when it comes to deciding what engine to put in your project. And some are quick and easy, and others take a lot of skill and time to put in. But one thing is for sure, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to tell you how you should build your vehicle. And here's the deal on that. It's your project. Build it the way you want to build it and the way that you want to enjoy it. And if you do that, I guarantee you that when it's finished, those people will look at it and go, man, that is a cool project. And that's what you want. We'll see you next time.